Okay, today our third session. Today date is 22nd January 2025, and hope the previous slide you go through at home or office or wherever the possible. I request you guys to go through the relevant topic and whatever the city law or cabinet decision or ministerial decision we are referring. So please go and read that relevant clause as well. Let's begin today's session. Today, we're going to discuss the revenue. So in terms of the revenue, we have to understand. So while preparing the financial statement and the compliance. So what are the, now here we rules and understanding we are considering from the corporate tax point of view. So today our main topic is the small business relief. And what are the benefits and how we can avail the small business relief. So let's start the first in terms of the revenue. To prepare the financial statement or to avail the any kind of relief or any tax related calculation, we have to go as per the IFRS. We have to prepare the financial statement as per IFRS. So now today, if our revenue is less than 3 million, so the first rule for understanding, we are mentioning the rule number 1 and rule number 2 in that format for our understanding. So first rule that option that we have, that we can use the cash basis accounting. In previous session, we already discussed the cash basis and the accrual basis. So now considering the small business relief perspective, so if our revenue is less than 3 million or equal to 3 million, so we can avail the small business relief, and this is available till 31st December 2026, whatever the accounting period or tax period coming up to 31st December 2026. And the second, we will understand what are the additional application. The small business relief in the important part is the tax period. Means the in current year and the previous year also it will be less than 3 million. So here the one is the very common misunderstanding where we are discussing, okay, the company have this year, let's say that your first tax period is the 2023. Let me just take the laser pointer. So if the company first tax period is 2024, January to December, so his revenue is less than 3 million. So here, but here we are mentioning the less than 3 million in current tax period plus the previous tax period. So what is the misunderstanding or the ambiguity the people doing while calculating the revenue calculation for the small business relief? They think, okay, in 2023 our revenue is at 10 million, but this in 2024 is at 2.5 million. So we cannot avail because the previous period we have more than 3 million. But here we have to understand and they focus on that. They mention the current tax period plus previous tax period. So corporate tax effective is the 1st June 2023. So whatever the first tax period after the corporate tax effective date, you have to count from that. So maybe based on your tax period or accounting period, if June to May or July to June, so you have to consider from that onward. And commonly the companies have the tax period is January to December, the mostly or the in the term of the statistic, we can give any random figure 70%, 60%, but there is no hard and fast rule. But just for understanding, we are saying if the January to December is your first tax period, so after the effective date of the corporate tax, your first tax period will be 2024. So if your revenue is less than 3 million, you can avail the small business relief. So there is no previous tax period because this is your first tax period. We will go with example also for this understanding, but I just want to highlight this point on this stage as well. So now the next point is coming, the small business relief is available to resident and non-resident both. This is another interesting point and the very common mistake here also people do. small business relief is to the resident and non-resident. So here we have to understand one is a natural person, one is a juridical person. So in terms of juridical person, resident only can avail the small business relief. So here the next we are seeing juridical person. This person resident can will get a small business relief. Non-resident will not get the small business relief. But in terms of the natural person, yes, it is available for both resident and non-resident. But in terms of juridical person, only available to natural person who will go to another site. So then we'll witness that part also. Juridical person who already knows the LLC company, PTSA company, LLP company. We discussed all the type in the previous session. So if in terms of the small business relief, another important point, because mostly there is a confusion, okay, in what under natural person relief, we don't have to go for the city registration. But in the small SBR, small business relief, we commonly known with the term of SBR. SBR, yes, you have to go for the city registration, you have to submit the city return, you have, but there is no tax. And this is the time period till 31st December 2026, the deadline where you avail this relief. Let's move to the next point now. Now the another part from the here we, as earlier mentioned, from the tax point of view, we have to consider the revenue and his condition. So while considering that criteria, so we seen less than 3 million, what are the benefits are available, or what are the relief is available, or what are the applicable regulation. So earlier we discussed in terms of the less than 3 million, we can we have the option, we can go for the cash basis, or we can this option is optional, but we can go for accrual basis also. In previous session we have the detailed discussion, but we can avail the small business relief also. Let's go and now if our revenue is greater than 50 million, so what will be the impact, or what are the conditions that we have to see? So if revenue is exceeding, so rule number 1, we have to follow full IFRS. Rule number 2, we require the audited financial statement. Versus if revenue is less than 3 million mainland company, they don't require the financial statement, audited financial statement. But still they have to prepare the financial statement as per the IFRS for SME. Still the revenue calculation will be as per IFRS based on SME, where you have to test, okay, you are meeting the 3 million condition or not. So let's move to the next point. If our revenue is greater than 50 million, we have to follow the full IFRS. We need to prepare the audited financial statement. Now, if our revenue is less than 50 million, so what are the optional and the mandatory from the tax point of view? Now, here we discuss less than 3 million, but here we are discussing less than 50 million. So which means, so here the we wish to understand if revenue is more than 3 million and less than 50 million. So what are the optional or mandatory compliance? If revenue is less than 50 million, so audit requirement is optional, not mandatory. Audited financial statement, if revenue is less than 50 million, here we are talking about the AED currency. Just I'm reminding again, here the criteria is a 50 million AED, UAE dirham. If revenue less than 50 million, the audited financial statement is optional. You can prepare, or you can just prepare your financial statement as per IFRS SME, and it's not mandatory. So, but even the revenue, the less than 50 million, the audited financial statement is mandatory for whom? Qualified free zone person. The financial statement is a mandatory. So on the same point, we are checking in the in one point, the audited financial statement is optional. But on the other side, if we are going to the qualifying free zone, the audited financial statement is mandatory regardless the revenue condition. But here the most important point, the qualifying free zone person. let's move to the next. Okay, the less than 15 million or greater than 15 million in both scenario is a mandatory. So regional corporate tax, we have to register for corporate tax. We have to prepare the return and pay the corporate tax.